Hello, everyone. Brandon Burbank here, and I am so excited for this wonderful opportunity to collaborate with you guys today. And we're going to be talking about one question and one question alone. And that is, how do you avoid homelessness when faced with a mental health crisis? So, there's a lot of people in this world, actually, a lot of people who have faced homelessness, who have faced struggles with their mental health, and they have no choice but they go out into the streets, and that's where things kind of degrade your mindset, your spirit, your hopes for succeeding in life. And this video is meant for those people who are actively seeking help and are actively trying to make their own comeback to success, find growth, find contentment in their life, have a sustainable and healthy lifestyle that's built upon a foundation work for stability. And what that stability looks like is having a roof over your head and a stable income and basic food necessities. And so not having to worry about, where your next meal is going to come from, where you're going to sleep the next night. So I'm going to go through my own personal story as well for a little bit, and to encapsulate that moment, that question that we're discussing today. To start with, for this question, how do you avoid homelessness when faced with a mental health crisis? Work with your mental health team. I say that really emphasizingly enough, because when you're working with your mental health team, which if you don't have one, get one, because if you don't have the right people in place who are professionals, who are giving you stability in your life, you will be in the streets for like that. And then the amount of effort it takes to get out of that situation is tremendous and is very horrendously difficult. For example, when I was transitioning from living in California to Washington State, I was homeless for a few weeks, and that, not knowing where I was going to sleep in a hotel, in my car, or in a homeless shelter at the time, that's something that has really been really prevalent and eye opening for me, and a hard to experience to unravel and to accept. Secondly, work with the local resources that your community offers. So different communities, dependent upon where you're at here in the U.S. and maybe even around the world, there's different resources that offer people resources for homelessness and to cure that, or to aid in assisting to get out of homelessness. And your local resources is probably going to be your best bet for achieving that goal. Also, being med compliant. So, for those of you that do take medications and psychiatric medications for any type of mental illness, mental health condition, being med compliant is very important. And I speak from experience on that one. So, that's something that is very hard to accept. But the reality is, if you are med compliant with your team, with your doctors, and in compliancy with what your care members want to give to you and what they're willing to offer to you, and recommending their professional opinion is valid in a lot of ways. Not 100%, but still most of the time. And if you're in a dire situation where you're in homelessness situation, going with your gut and sticking with the regimen that the doctors or mental health team provides for you is probably your best way to go to get out of any type of instability, and to destabilize your life. The next one I have is ask for help. When you ask for help, that essentially gives you a lot of freedom to ask for what you can do to correct your circumstances, change your life, change your trajectory, to bounce back from this homelessness due to a mental health crisis that is very prevalent here in this world, because we all have hiccups and mistakes that we make. But when we're going through a mental health crisis and we have symptomologies that are acutely specific towards our needs and our symptomologies, me being diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I can relate to that. And so that's a big reason why, you know, finding the right people to ask for help, as well as what I emphasize here: seek help from the right people, because you might be seeking help from the wrong person or the wrong people in general, who are not helping you stabilize yourself and getting in the right groove for yourself. And I say that, unfortunately, that's the case for a lot of people these days. And so finding your right group, your right tribe, to give you provision and feedback and guidance during these uncertain times when you are seeking getting out of homelessness, or in the midst of a mental health crisis. And then last one is be honest with where you are at. So when you're honest with where you're at, you're allowing yourself to say, okay, this is where I'm at, but how do I get better? How do I change this? How do I get into a better state of mind so that I can become more healthy, happy, and just wealthy in general, so that I can focus on getting my pockets bigger as well. Because when you are focused and engaged on being a participant in this economy, in this world, in this country, you can be more inspired to make changes for yourself, which will in turn inspire the people around you, around your circle of influence, in your community, and it will just rub off on that and grow from there. So this wraps up the video, and I just wanted to be focused on this question alone in this video: how do you avoid homelessness when faced with a mental health crisis? And in this video, my goal is to recap here: working with your mental health team, work with the local resources that your community offers, be med compliant, ask for help, be honest where you are at, and seek help from the right people. Those are the main components for getting out of a mental health crisis when faced with homelessness, in your circumstances. And I also drew from real life experience from my move from California back to Washington. So that just wraps up the video, guys. Thank you so much, and I please feel free to show your support by subscribing and liking and making some comments. And I'd love to see where the conversation will take us all. All right, take care, guys.